This podcast is all about happiness. What gave it away? I'm Fayon Dixon, and welcome to Happy Talk. Each week, I will be introducing you to someone that I share a happy connection with. I just believe that we all have happy stories, happy events, and we sit on them. We never share them. So this is the platform for doing it. I work as a presenter, broadcaster, events host. I work with stroke survivors. I have my own children's radio show. And I've been really lucky in the last 20 years to do work where I just ooze happiness. Yeah, I'm one of those people. My cup is eternally overflowing. Sit back, enjoy. It's time for Happy Talk. Hello and welcome to another Happy Talk with me, Fayon Dixon. Good news, good guests, no grief. Sitting by my side, thank you so much to Oris Erhuero, award-winning actor. How are you doing?
I am good. Thank you so much for having me in your happy space. And thank you for inviting me into your happy space. I really appreciate that.
You are so very welcome. So, Oris, on
Yes.
each of the podcasts that I do, I like to share a bit of happy news to start off. Is
Okay.
that okay?
Yes, that's absolutely okay. We could do with some of
Cool.
those happy news at this time. So
Yeah,
yes.
because I really do believe there's a lot of happy news out there, and I really want to
Yes.
make sure that I share it here on the podcast. So
Thank you.
I source my news from the rooftop, and you can find them on Instagram. And
Yes.
they are an organization who shout from the rooftops about positive news worth
Wow.
shouting about,
Yeah.
campaigns, issues that are really making a difference. And I love
Nice.
the fact that it's empowering people to take charge of their life and their situations.
Wow.
So, what I'm going to share with you is something that I saw in last month's
Mhm.
News from the Rooftop, and it is about a campaign that's being launched to prevent homelessness this
Wow.
winter. It's against this rise of unemployment that we're experiencing in the
Mm.
UK.
Yeah.
Of course, we know because of COVID, lots of people are losing their jobs,
Yes.
and the steps from losing your job to homelessness can be quite swift if there are certain circumstances in place.
Yeah.
So, this initiative is called No Going Back, and it was
Mhm.
launched by Passage Charity and Crisis UK. And they are two British charities,
Mm.
and they're specialising in providing support for homeless people. So, according to Passage, the number of people seeking help doubled. It's doubled in the last few months.
Wow.
And the charity is really concerned that because the government withdrew the support at the end of October for those
Mm.
who might not be able to pay their rent, then it's just going to keep on rising, especially as we're getting into winter.
Wow.
So the campaign is urging those at risk of housing crisis to follow essential advice and know their rights. And they say there are 5 tips for making sure that they stay on the right side of, being able to pay their rent and
Yeah.
keeping everything up. And if you go and have a look on the Instagram site, then there is a link to it. And it's absolutely brilliant.
Wow.
An organization out there that isn't just there to say, right, we'll help you when you're homeless. They are
Yeah.
saying, we're going to help you stay 5 steps away from homelessness.
Mm.
And this is how you do it. And I just love that because,
Wow.
everybody wants a home. Everybody
Yes.
wants
Yes.
somewhere they can call their own and feel safe and
Yes.
happy, you
Yes.
know. I know that you've moved quite recently, haven't you?
Yes. Yes. I have. So I know the value of exactly what you're saying and how important that is and how grateful we are. As a family to be able to do that. The most one of the saddest thing in the process is watching a lot of people kind of abandon their home and
Mm.
just which is kind of the opposite of what I'm hearing. People have just kind of left the country. So it's a time where many of us are fortunate to pay the rent, pay a lesser rent, by also knowing our rights and knowing what's going on. Because if, I was just having a conversation with a wonderful businessman in the area. I've just moved in, and he stood up to his landlord and said, "Look, I am not paying the full rent. I can't. It's impossible. I work hard. I do this. I do that. I've had to, let my staff go and run my business myself." So this guy is actually running a cafe and a shoemaker shop at the same time, going back and forth by himself. So we are all able to do our best by buying coffee from him, supporting him the best we can. And so it's so nice and refreshing to hear your aspect. I think that's very that's something we move into this part of town we're seeing, and understanding the value of people owning homes and business, because homelessness is not just for people, is it? It's also people who have businesses, small businesses.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. So yeah, please do go on to the Instagram page from the rooftops and do have a look. But
Will do.
I found some other news actually that really warmed my heart, and it's not from the rooftops; it's from another source, but it tickled me so much because, in a good way.
Right.
The story doesn't start off very well, but it ends great, and I love this so much. So
Wow.
we are big fans in my household of RuPaul's Drag Race. Have you ever?
Ah, I love him.
Such a great show. It's such a great show. But
I love it.
this story that I read, like I said, it starts off quite sad. There was a road worker, and he, like a lot of people, even before COVID, faced a lot of depression in his life and a lot of sadness. And when COVID hit, he just found himself just feeling more lonely and isolated, and had tried to take his own life a couple of times. And it was a friend who reached out to him and said, "You know what? I want you to try something different." He said, "I want you to try drag. I want you to drag up." Yeah. So this road worker, he's not like chiseled in any way. He's not really tall and everything else. He's just an average guy. And he went, "Yeah, okay, I'll do it. I'll do it." And he came up with
Wow.
Cassandra. Yeah, he's got this character called Cassandra, excuse me, Sandra. And he's got the whole wig, and he's got the shoes, he's got the dress, he's done the makeup. But he went a step further. He actually went and started performing in his local club. Yeah, in
Oh, wow.
club. And he likes it so much. He actually had um, a, a place where he can now really express himself. And he's out there.
Brilliant.
That's what he's doing. Sandra has rescued him. Rescued him, Oris. I just love this story so much because sometimes we don't feel that we can try something new to get us out. And he went in hook, line, and sinker. Can you imagine?
Well, I can imagine, because when you said to me, when you reach out about this whole concept of show and tell, I was a bit down, because I wanted to show you something. And it's funny that you're mentioning this whole story. So I played a drag in LA at our theater company in Los Angeles many years ago. So I was dared to think outside the box and perform and do something outside the box. Go to a place that scares the hell out of me. And for some incredible reason, I was listening to Join Again. Oh, what's a vibe? And how it brought happiness to people. Just that the song, and I did the lyrics. And then something said to me, "Why don't you perform her whole thing?"
Oh.
And I was like, I was having this conversation back and forth with myself. Something was like, do it. So I had this daring thing, this mirror in front of me, this daring thing, and it happened to be a lady who did well. A wonderful friend of mine who was going through the transgender process, who was my neighbor, and she was like, brilliant. I'll dress you up. We'll do this. We went shopping. I got this beautiful high heel stiletto. And we must have spent like a good 300 to 400 to get dressed. It was, I had this black ball and everything, and she did the wig. Man, it was incredible. And on the day, I had a slight panic attack.
Did you?
I had anxiety, but the moment I came on, when the song came on, and at that time we living in West Hollywood, man, thanks to the audience, everyone got up, people were dancing, people were screaming, people were throwing stuff, and I just went into it. So I could really understand this guy, what he, been feeling liberated. And I tell you what, I just felt really liberated.
Oh.
If that makes sense, And I kept the stilettos. I actually kept them. And I don't have it with me, but it's in my storage in LA. But it was just one of those things I kept like a shrine in the corner of my apartment. It would just sit there.
I'd have known, Oris. I would have needed to see a picture of the stilettos. This is another happy talk that you and I are going to have, my friend. I want full on wig.
Oh man!
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
What size foot are you? What size foot?
Well, I am a 43, and so at first they said to me, "Oh, don't." Oh child, don't worry. There's a special store that actually have a special store where you can get sizes up to 13, 47, 50, literally. Wow. And I didn't realize my size for a female size is not that easy to find.
No.
It's pretty big, pretty big feet.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, it was the most beautiful. Oh God, it was the most beautiful heels I've ever worn. But I didn't realize how difficult it is for women to walk in stilettos.
Wow. Do you know I can run in stilettos?
Ooh!
Can't walk, but can run. No, I can. Do you know what? Because my mum, she was a disco diva from back in the 70s, and she had some incredible stilettos. And from the age of about 4, I used to stick them on, and I used to tootle around the house. I mean, obviously they didn't fit me, but I think because I did gymnastics as well, I've got quite a good sense of balance.
Wow.
I could do anything in stilettos. It wasn't a problem.
Wow.
I would tear up a dance floor in some stilettos. I can't actually dance in flat shoes. And I can, but I find I've got a more rhythm in stilettos.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you got to experience that.
You know what? I got to learn to really walk. Because for years, I modeled in Paris for a while, and there was a guy in Paris who was actually teaching women how to walk on runway. They would pay him literally $50 an hour on stiletto. A brother from Chicago who that's all he does, and he makes a killing teaching women how to walk. And I'll never forget. He says, "Child, honey, you will be amazed. How many women can't walk in heels, and they pay me." I was like, whoa. And then years later, me doing this whole thing and learning to walk with heels.
Because you're a woman, it doesn't mean you automatically.
But I always thought that. I always thought women could just, that was it. Yeah.
No. I have some friends who cannot walk in heels. But listen, we can talk about shoes forever because shoes is my thing. I want to share with you now some connections I have with you. We're just going to talk about this briefly before we get to your show and tell. So there are a number of connections I have with you, and the first big one for me is our Buddhist practice. So that's how I met you. I think the first time I actually met you was in the center in Brixton, and we've done Buddhist activities together.
Correct.
And, whether you were on the door doing Guardian or I was doing lilac, supporting giving drinks and
Yeah,
making sure our members are looked after. It's such a beautiful place to meet people because,
absolutely.
the Buddhist Center in Brixton, like the other three centers we have across the country,
Mm,
they're very open. There's a lot of chat and there's
yeah.
noise. You got the
Yes.
chanting, you got the meetings, you got the
Yeah.
library, you got the shop. And I think a lot of people, when they first go into a Buddhist center, they think it's going to be very quiet and
Yeah.
serene. No, no, no. We're there to do our humanization and
Yeah.
change up. We're there to,
Yeah.
peace, culture, and education. We're there to
Exactly.
change our lives.
Yes. Correct. Correct.
You know,
Wow.
that's
It's it's
that's.
it's
Sorry, go on.
no, it's funny you say that. I remember the first time going to, I first met the practice in Los Angeles, and I never forget. I was introduced to it by just two wonderful ladies in the marketplace on a Tuesday, and I never saw a center until a year after being introduced. And the first center I went to was the Brixton Center. Now, you won't believe my ignorance at that time. I was expecting to walk into this very solemn and quiet temple-like place.
Yeah.
Again, I was just told to chant this wonderful chant, and bring all my wishes and desire and have determination. So I just focused on that, thinking, oh, it's just a magic word. I'm just going to say this, and that was it. But
What
a
Nam Myoho
year up,
Renge Kyo.
Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, right? So I'm
Yeah.
chanting, I'm doing the Tina Turner thing. I didn't know anything about the Gohonzon. I didn't know anything about the ceremony that we would do every day, which I so love doing. I can't live home without that ceremony.
And the Gohonzon is the mandala that's been
It's
enshrined by the priest Nichiren Daishonin, but that's
it's
another
that's
conversation.
a that's another conversation, right? But coming a year later, I mean, I've been doing it almost 14 years now, 15 years,
Yeah.
and walking into that Brixton Center and seeing not only it was lively, but seeing a woman at the front desk, because I was figuring I would see this priest and this whole like Vietnam, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The thoughts of it. But to see people like me and you of all walks of life,
Mm,
police officers, nurses, doctors, actors, hosts, just all incredible people of
mm.
all walks of life. That just blew me away. I was like, wow. It wasn't intimidating. It wasn't so, oh, shh, you can't
Do
say
you
this.
know? Do you know what I call that, Oris? Do you know what I call that? I call that people soup.
Yeah,
All the flavors, all the flavors
yes.
are in there. That is people soup, my friend. And
Interesting.
it's interesting because my second thing that I wanted to share with you is we share a date together, you and I. Okay.
Mm,
And that date is the 23rd of September.
ouch. That's my birthday.
Spoiler alert. Yeah, we've been friends a while, so I know it's your birthday on the 23rd, but
Oh, wow.
mystically,
Wow.
I always wanted to get married on World Peace Day. I mean, I never knew I was
Wow.
going to get married when I was younger, but anyway, when I met my
Yeah.
husband, blah, 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 boom, 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 and 10 years later, we're married. But I always
Wow.
wanted to get married on World Peace Day, which is the 21st of September. But
Wow.
I wanted also to get married at Taplow Court, our Buddhist National Centre in Taplow.
Wow.
I couldn't get the date that the year it fell on was
Yeah.
a Thursday. So I went for the 23rd and we were happy.
Wow.
So we got married on the 23rd, and that is indeed your birthday. And I'm so
And
happy that we did.
so we both also had a Buddhist wedding.
Yeah, we did, didn't we? Yeah.
And so you're saying, so I'm a Libra, so 23rd, you just said the 23rd. So my wife is also a Libra. We got
Huh?
married on her birthday, which is the 29th of September.
Oh my goodness.
A Buddhist wedding.
Great. Oh my gosh. And both your wife and my
Yeah.
husband are not practitioners, but they totally embrace the practice, don't they?
Thank you. Thank you. And it's funny because I remember our organization, as you know, we're part of the SGI. The first thing they wanted to make sure that I'm sure they did this to you, that we went forcing our significant partners by force. And I remember saying, no, I'm not. So they said, well, let me speak to your wife. So they actually, yeah, they were like, they were like, we want to talk to you. I'm sure they did it to you, but they said, we want to talk. And my wife was like, yeah, I would love to. I want to. It's what, and they were like, I remember a mutual friend of ours, Sandra McWheeler, was like, oh, okay. On one condition, you dictate the terms of what you want and what you don't want. So I'm sure you went through the same thing. Just so
Lawrence
nice to see.
Also met Sandra. We also met with Sandra McWilliams.
Oh wow! So we do have a lot in common. Now I want to hear more. We got a lot in common.
Listen, we have so much in common, and that day, the 23rd.
Yeah.
It's funny because I knew. The funny thing is, you say I'm a Libra.
Yeah.
I will remember your star sign all day long. I will forget your name in a heartbeat, but I will always remember a star sign. And we have a mutual friend who also has a birthday on the 23rd, because I always have a happy birthday. So it's funny. I know you ask me anybody that we know.
Wow.
And I'll see if I can remember their star sign.
Okay, John McCormican.
John Cormican.
Yes.
Capricorn.
Wow. Wow.
Capricorn. Yeah.
Because he invited me to one of his birthdays a long time ago. So let me give you another one. This is gonna be real easy, right? A wonderful man, someone we both know. Sam Trenchard.
Oh, Sam Trenchard. Now, I do know of him, but I'm just going to be admitting, unless he's actually told me when his birthday is, I would not know, and I cannot guess. So I don't know Sam's. Give me somebody else.
Okay, Sonia Monopole.
Sonia, Scorpio.
Yeah. Ah, wow. I love it. Ken Collard.
Ken Collard is also Capricorn.
Oh, that's it. No more.
Which?
It's funny. I know people say, "Oh, but science. How does that work with Buddhism and this and that?" I didn't get into science until I was in my 30s.
Okay.
A friend of mine said to me, Oris, she would always say to me, Oris, read the signs. So whenever I get into complications with people or didn't understand certain things going on, she would ask, okay, great. So you went for this interview. I went, yeah. So did you ask anything about the person's signs? And I can't do that.
In an interview.
Yeah. She said, well, you were having a casual conversation. I'm like, yeah. She goes, Oris, I know you. You like to have conversations with strangers and all sorts of people, but you never ask people for their signs. You never get to know when their birthdays are. And because of that, just like you said, I start to pay attention to those beautiful details. And it's a pleasure now where I would say to people, I even mark down people's birthdays and I look forward now every day when I wake up, thanks to Facebook, whose birthday is today, and wish them a happy birthday. But the most important thing was star signs. The reason it was pointed to me, it's a way for us to navigate through the universe. It's not to judge people. And they would say to me, these are the traits of Capricorn, these are the traits of Libras. And they would start with the positive aspects of it. Everything else in a star sign is for you to try to not get rid of, but to manage it. So if this a star sign has this thing where they may not work well with other people, they make an effort to work well with certain star signs, or which is almost part of what our Buddhism is about. It's about being put, as you said, in a soup, in a melting pot, and you work it out together.
It's true.
You know what I mean? So it's interesting.
I got into astrology as a child. I remember, I don't know where it started. I think maybe I used to read it in the papers. And I just thought it was fascinating. I was like 7 or 8 years of age. And
wow,
it was a way for me to try and remember things about people, and on with me through life. And I always try and find, sometimes I don't ask people directly, but I always try and
Mm.
find out somehow when their birthday is. Because what I love doing without looking at Facebook
Yeah.
is remembering I've got a birthday coming. I'm like, Lawrence, it's
Mm.
somebody's birthday today. I know it.
Yeah.
It's somebody's birthday. And it will come to me. And then I will go to that person and say, I know you've got a birthday coming. You got any plans? Blah, blah, blah. They're like, how do you
Mm.
do that? So I feel, it's that connectivity.
Mm.
People love to be connected and feel
Yes.
that you have made an effort to,
Yes.
remember something about them or connect
Yes.
with them in some way. So yeah,
Yeah. It's an icebreaker, isn't it? It's
it
an
is an
icebreaker.
icebreaker. Sorry, I'm just gonna have
Yeah.
to stop the filming for a second because
Sure.
I need to turn on another light. It's just got really dark.
So I'm so glad you sorted out the light thing, because for a long time I got very insecure with Zoom.
Oh yeah.
I would find I would be in a meeting and I was the darkest of everyone.
You know that when you watch back, you're like, who's that? Who's in the meeting?
You know, and it was always, you would see my teeth, but the rest of it, and I would just felt like, whoa, this is not nice, And I'm like, then when we moved, I said to my wife, I said, if there's one thing I want to do, it was I want to make sure we have good lights. And she, she's also a photographer, so she said, yeah, we're gonna need some good natural light. So whenever you Zoom people, you don't be the darkest out of everybody in the Zoom. I'm sorry. So I'm glad you corrected that.
Yeah, man, gotta be done. So I've got a lovely camera. It's got the light going on with it, but the day, because it's winter now, and the light was just going, and I thought, okay.
Oh man.
So I'm getting warmer now. So before we get to your show and tell, there's one more thing that I have that brings me joy about you, Oris. And at the time that I saw this thing, I didn't know you. And later on, I realized it was you. And I was just like, well, kiss my grits.
I don't know what it is.
Listen, you are an award-winning actor. You've done many things, but the one that I love so much is the character you played in 1996 version of Sinbad.
Ouch!
I love it so much. Sinbad, from this teeny tiny Sinbad the sailor.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I've loved Sinbad since I was a child, and any connotation of Sinbad that has happened through the years. And I watched the series that you were in.
Oh my goodness! You know why I'm laughing, right? My wife said to me, it was 6 months into our date, so I would always never. She noticed I would never say anything about what I really did. She couldn't figure it out, and for some strange reason, she said, "You remind me of one of my favorite characters of a TV show I used to watch when I was 13." I said, "What was that?" She said, "Sinbad." I fell off. I literally, I'm sorry, Fayon. I was like, "How old are you?" I said, "Are you kidding me?" I mean, she's in her 40s now, but it was just like, I was taken back that I said, "It's me." She goes, I knew you were an actor, but I didn't think that was you.
Amazing.
So how crazy, and she's from Norway. So could you imagine? They were watching this in Norway. She said she couldn't wait to get home from school on a Tuesday. She used to watch it with Xena and all this other shows. Yeah. And it really hit me. I was like, wow. I didn't realize this show affected people. I didn't think, you don't know. It's like, you just.
Well, come on, I feel that's what you get into it for, surely, to again make those connections, and you don't know how you're going to touch someone's life, and you didn't know either one of us then, but we've all come together, and here we are, and it's 2020, what a year it is, but we're laughing, and this is what Happy Talk is all about. And it's time, Oris.
Yes.
I want to see your show and tell, please. What is it that you show us?
Okay, so fortunately, I couldn't really. It would have been a dream come true to show the stilettos, right? But that wasn't happening. That was. And I wanted to give you something that real. That's something that's significant in my life. So about 4 years ago, when I I was in a very, I would wake up sometimes very, and in a very saddish place. So my wife said, I'm gonna give you something you're gonna put by the mirror when you wake up to go and brush your teeth before you go and chant. You're gonna laugh, you're gonna smile, no matter what time it is in the morning. So she gave me this,
I see that.
and it says, watch this.
You are a badass.
Cute.
You can do it. Do what you love. You create your reality. Feed fear a suck it sandwich.
I'm telling you, it makes me laugh. It gives me
Oh,
that smile. I actually just, I mean, those mornings when I got to do my run,
yes.
That it just gives me that boost. And man, I tell you what, man, one of those words sticks to me. You
Yeah.
are your own reality. You create your own reality. Feed fear a suck it sandwich.
I love that.
Yeah. So.
You are a badass.
Thank you. Oh, that is so cool. So where do you keep it in your house? Do you keep it in your bathroom still?
So we've ordered 3. So one in the bathroom for strangers. So when the people, they can have it, they have it there with a bunch of books, like even books on the practice. Just, I've always wanted a bathroom where I could create like a library and positive books. So they can, just by the toilet roll, they can go.
You do what you love.
Then, so then, in the ensuite bathroom, I have it right as I by my toothbrush. Then I have it on the entrance going out the door. So I have 3. It works.
So cool.
It works.
Because you know what? I love a buzzer. I love a buzzer. Something else I love so much is quiz shows. And I've always loved quiz shows. And for my children's radio show and for when I go out and do motivational workshops in schools and things, I take buzzers with me. And
wow.
I first got them when I started working with stroke survivors because, again, I do quizzes with them. I make it all light-hearted, and I've got them that glow, or they make silly noises, whether it's farmyard noises, or they make conventional buzzer sounds, or ding-a-ling, or like a doorbell or whatever. But buzzers are never far from my life. I've got a pencil case that I carry around, and it says I'm very busy on it. But inside it, I have a little miniature maracas.
Wow. Wow.
To shake this thing every night.
I love it.
You with your badass. I love that so much. The things that bring us happiness. Are just, for somebody else, it might be like, oh yeah, that's fine. But when it's your thing and when it truly brings you that happiness, and that it's connected to a time when you weren't feeling so good, so it feels even richer for you, doesn't it?
It just that laugh, because a lot of us as kids were born happy, smiling, physically, mentally, and as time goes on, that kind of diminishes, and it bothers me. It's not right. So I've made this vow that, what, no matter what, I've got to smile. I've got to be that shining face. Even sometimes I would greet people and I would smile at them, even if they don't smile or say anything back. It's okay. I just carry on.
I'm all over that.
It's cheap, isn't it? It's free. It doesn't cost much. It's the one thing. It doesn't cost you. It's free. You don't have to exercise for it or pay a price for it. Just smile and just really be sincere. And I know people say, well, I remember as a kid, a guy said to me, it was a moment in my life that was really strange. What you smiling at? That was something that you would hear a lot. What you smiling at? You know what I mean? And now I'm daring someone to say, what you smiling at?
Absolutely.
And because my reply would be, because I'm alive and I'm breathing, it's a beautiful day. You should smile too. So I'm constantly waiting for that moment.
Yeah,
it would never happen. But
you're absolutely right, though. I mean, I smile, I say hello to anybody.
yeah,
And Lawrence always says it's hard to go out with you because you either know people or you just randomly say hi to people. And if it's people in my environment, I want
yeah,
to say hello. I want
yeah,
that community feel. If I see somebody walking down my street, if I've seen them more than twice, you're obviously somebody that lives in my community. So I'm like, hey.
yeah,
And I've
yeah,
had people say to me before, do I know you? And I'm like, nope, but you are in my community. And so that
yeah,
your neighbors. So hi, you know,
yeah,
and it can take a lot of courage sometimes to do that, but I've always done
yeah,
it since I was a kid.
yeah.
I'm one of those people that has always said hello to people. My mum's like, hey, too.
Mm,
That's who you say hello to. So it's like, it's just me. It's just me. It's just like my factory setting is set to happiness. But yeah, of
wow.
course, I have days where, I'm fighting with things that I'm trying to overcome, and there are
Yeah,
challenges. But I'm fortunate that I have my Buddhist practice and I have people around
yes,
me, and I can remember that I am really grateful for what I
yes,
have. And it's not
yeah,
hard for me to get back to that happy place. You know what I'm saying? Not like
yeah,
just smiling for the sake of
yeah.
smiling. It's that inherent happiness that makes you really grateful for the smallest things. So I'm so grateful that you've come on to
Mm.
Happy Talk. I cannot thank you enough. Thank you so much.
No, thank you for we were just briefly talking about a special day, and something that connects the likes of us and all the names we've mentioned. We had a celebration yesterday, which was November 18th, and the reason I brought this up, um, it was that one day that connect us to that thing we call absolute happiness. Because at the end of the day, the reason why the likes of me and you practice Nam Myoho Renge Kyo or are part of this organization, it's simply because of that term absolute happiness. And that's one of our tenets when we pray,
Yeah.
to chant for absolute happiness. And, and at this time in the world, look at me and you, we're laughing.
It's absolute happiness for self and others. So when we're
Yes,
chanting, that chant kind of ripples out into
yes,
our own lives, but into the lives of those around us. And that's not
exactly.
even just people who we know, but that is
Yes,
people in our neighborhood, people that we work
exactly.
with, people that we travel with, people
Yes,
we know that are suffering,
yes,
or just need that extra bit of love. And when they don't have
yes.
the answers, sometimes I just say to someone, I'm chanting for you. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I'm chanting for your happiness, which sounds really superficial, but
yeah,
when you kind of find that happiness in out of a sad place, then it really
yeah,
does help. It really does.
yeah.
Oris, man, time has
Hey.
beaten us. It is time. You have
Well,
been fantastic. Thank you.
no, thank you so much. Another inspiring and inspirational moment in our life, in a twinkle, another twinkle moment in our groove, right? As we
Little
say,
kick there.
treasures of the heart, right? Another treasure that we're gonna tuck in our heart and just hold on to. So the more the merrier, right? The more the merrier.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. I appreciate
Thank you.
it.
Thank you so much to Oris Erhuero. It was great to have you as my guest on Happy Talk today. So it's now time for your happy happenings. Thank you so much for sending these in. I do love receiving them and sharing them here on Happy Talk. So today's Happy Talk is from a neighbour who lives kind of like down that way. Her name's Catherine, and she has a daughter called Georgina. And through lockdown, Georgina, who's an only child, has been really, quite low because, she can't see her friends so much. And yeah, you know how it goes. And with Halloween coming up, she was gutted that she wouldn't be able to do any trick or treating or anything like that. So they let me know that they went for it over Halloween. They made pumpkins, they made costumes, they made their whole house, the outside, they put all the webbing out and everything and the lights. And what they did, mum and daughter walked around the streets in their costume, checking out everybody else's sort of decorations and that. And she said they had a lovely, lovely time. And she said the other thing that she did for herself is that they have had so many plums this year. Lockdown, isn't it? As soon as we all went inside, the sun came out, and her plum tree had just given an abundance of plums more than ever before. So she's like, what are we going to do with all these plums? You know, we've given them to the neighbors, we're giving them to the homeless, we're doing all sorts with them. So with the surplus, she decided to make a wine. Mhm. She's made plum wine, not one bottle, but several bottles. I think there were six actual bottles in the picture she showed me. And she said it's actually quite strong. So I don't know if plum wine is a thing, but Catherine's make it and it is absolutely delicious. I am yet to taste any of this plum wine yet, but as soon as she's ready, I'm happy to taste it. So, if you have something happening in your life that is bringing you joy, making you happy, and you want to share it, then please do send me an email to happytalkwithfayondixon@gmail.com. I would love to share it here on Happy Talk. So, until the next time, remember good news, good guests, no grief. This is how I roll.